What's good, everybody? You know who this is. This your boy Blackout Jones from Just Shooting the Sports. The Tennessee Volunteers came away with a 42-9 win against the New Mexico State Aggies. I'm going to ask the question out the gate before I get into it. How did y'all feel about this game? You know, were y'all impressed or were you unimpressed? For me personally, I was very unimpressed. It looked like a team that had a bye week. And on top of that, seems to me they looked ahead to the game in Gainesville against the Florida Gators. That's just what it looked like. I mean, offensively, it didn't look too great. Joey Aguilar made threw for two interceptions today. One of the interceptions, it could have been avoided. I didn't see the first interception, but I know on the second interception that could have been avoided. Tremendously could have been, avoided or whatnot. He threw for 204 yards. He was 17 out of 23, one touchdown, two picks, as I stated. Deshaun Bishop had 16 carries for 80 yards, one touchdown. Let me tell you about something about Deshaun Bishop. And there's an issue with his game that I've always peeped, even from last year and definitely this year. There are times where he just doesn't know how to switch from one hand to the other with the ball. That's very important as a running back, especially when you're in the league, if he even gets to the league. Because you have to be able to make that switch, bring it to the other hand, where you're able to maybe stiff arm a defender. You know what I mean? That will probably give you, some more yards. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't know how to make that adjustment. And that's very important. He has to learn, and his running backs coach needs to show him and teach him, hey, this is what you need to do. To me, that's what makes a good running back into a great running back, able to make adjustments while you're on the run. So he definitely needs to work on that, because there are plenty of plays in here where I saw where he could have possibly switched hands, stiffed on a defender, and got more yards than he did get. In this game. And there's been other games like that as well. In regards to Chris Brazzell, he only had 65 yards, three receptions. He was the leader. So there really wasn't any fireworks whatsoever from the offensive end. For New Mexico State, 23 out of 34, one interception, 166. He didn't do too well. You got 166 on 34 attempts. 19 rushing yards for their running back, and then 80 yards for Fopple, their wide receiver. But Nick Mitchell had 10 tackles, 7 solo, and then for us, Devin Hobbs had 5 solo, but he had 9 tackles altogether, and Bailey only had 1 sack. So, with that being said, man, total yards, we only had 413 yards, had 2 turnovers, 22 first downs, had 4 penalties for 55 yards. Third down, 3 out of 10. Fourth down, 2 out of 2. And our time of possession, of course, is 24 minutes and 21 seconds. I don't really get into the time of possession stuff because we just moved the ball real fast. But anyway, this is my thought, man, on this game. Like, honestly, it was unimpressive. It was sloppy. It looks like they weren't in tune. The play calling just looked vanilla. What happened to the trips that we did earlier in the season? Like, Hyper did this last year. We were playing this 12 personnel. We was doing some things here and there in the beginning of the season last year, and then went away from it. And that could have been, quarterback issue, just player personnel. But this year, once again, early in the season, we getting the tight ends involved, and we're showing different looks. And we did all that leading up, in the Georgia game, we did the same thing, and it seemed like after that, we just went away from it. Even tonight, tight ends didn't really get no burn. Yeah, Ethan Davis caught a pass or 2, but in all actuality, didn't nobody really get no burn. Let me even take a look and see if the tight ends even got involved here this evening, receiving wise. What? Ethan Davis had 1 catch for 14 yards. To Jake Van Dorselaere, he had 1 receiving yard for -2. Kisselman ain't nowhere to be found. Like, we really want to look at it. The tight ends only garnered two catches for 12 yards? Like, you're not even involving your tight ends. And all you're doing is just spreading wide receivers out. You're not even trying nothing. Like, we're in the part of the season where trying to hide something for the next opponent, that's been over with. The film is already out there. Like, what are we doing? Yes, we won 42-9, but Jesus, we were only up 21-3 in the first half. And I know somebody may probably going to get on here and be like, well, man, you know, a win is a win. It is, but as I've always stated, that doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize you. I'm not going to criticize how we played today. It was sloppy. It was, we had a bye week. Oh, it's homecoming. Oh, we're just playing New Mexico State. Yeah, that should be an easy win. And we'll just look ahead to Florida. Because today, if we even played a good team, we could have lost. There was a possibility we could have lost this game. If we played a decent, good, if not great team, this would have been an L today. Because offensively, we just didn't look good. We were not the part. Now, defensively, they played well, but hell, it's New Mexico State. One thing I was proud about is that, hell, well, as far as the starters concerned, we didn't give over 300 passing yards. Combined as a team, because they did have a backup, we gave up 313 yards. But we also got 4 interceptions two interceptions. One to the house. Should have had a couple of other interceptions, but they played well for the most part. 9 points. Hell, UAB, we gave up points. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to congratulate and give, tip my hat to the defense today. But next week, you better come to play. We ain't got time to be throwing picks. We ain't got time to be turning over the ball. We ain't got time to be playing just our regular type of offense. Instead of mixing it up, we ain't got time to get the tight ends involved. They need to be involved. You got legit dudes at the tight end position. You're not even involving them. They're not even part of the equation. I remember against Syracuse, Kisserman through the middle. Georgia, middle. There was a couple other games where we had, the tight end was a factor. It's like the tight end ain't even a factor today. Y'all treated this like this was just a regular old scrimmage, like this was just some practice or something. You got to do better. Just got to do better. You cannot do this against Florida. I'm watching Florida right now, and they're going toe-to-toe with Ole Miss in Oxford. And if DJ Lagway even finds himself next week, and we know that defense can be a defense, but the only way we're going to lose, it's going to be our own fault. We're going to shoot ourselves in the foot. That's how that's going to happen, because Florida's not better than us. They're not talented than us. They don't have a coach like us. As I stated, I'm gonna keep reiterating. I'm gonna reiterate it when I talk about the pregame, when I talk about the preview and the game prediction that I'm gonna have coming up this week or next week. Is this: you losing Gainesville, man, you might as well just horseback ride to Knoxville after that. Just horseback ride. No bus, no plane, no taxi, no Uber, no Lyft, no train. You can't call your family members to come pick you up. No. Get on that horseback, like on Tombstone, and ride your ass back to Knoxville. But anyway, enough of that. Once again, Tennessee, yeah, they won 42-9. Congrats. But next week, New Mexico State ain't going to be on that field. You know who I am? This your boy Blackout Jones. You know where we are. Just shooting the sports. Anytime I talk about that Power T and that little one right there, you know what it is. Go Big Orange and go Vols.